Okay, we're going to be doing lead code 69, square root of x, spell Sqrt in brackets x. You're given a non-negative integer x, compute and return the square root of x, right? Since the return type is an integer, the decimal digits are truncated and only the integer part of the result is returned. So x is equal to 4, you get 2. X is equal to 8, you get 2 as well, despite it being this. So this is simply binary search, right? You're going to search from 1 to 8 until you find a number that that equals the square root. That equals the square, that equals x, right? So I is equal to 0 and j is equal to x, right? And then while I is less than or equal to j, we calculate our mid, which will be I plus in brackets j minus I divided by 2, and then we calculate our let's call it guess, right? So guess is going to be equal to mid times mid, and then we check, right? So if guess is equal to x, then we return guess. Actually, we return mid. I think so. You decide either you can choose guess or mid. In terms of how to do this, we could just use mid by mid. Mid by mid. I'll leave this out here. Elif mid by mid is less than x, then that means we increment our I pointer is equal to mid plus 1. Else we decrement our j pointer. Right? And then at the end we return, if we can't find it, we return our j. Right? The value at j, because the value at j will be the most closest value. Right? You see this trick, this important factor here. The value at j will be the closest value to the square root. So you run, voila, it works. So basically just binary searching from, okay, this guy's giving me a few issues. Okay, so from 1 to 8, we are just doing binary search over 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? That's what we're doing with this. But another thing you need to realize is that for every, say for the square root of 0 is 0. The square root of 1 is 1, right? But for every number 2 till infinity, right? The square root is this number, let's say x, divided by 2 or less, right? The square root of any number x, where x is greater than or equal to 2, is going to be less than x over 2, right? For example, the square root of 8, okay, the square root of 9 will be, the square root of 16, right? Let me first remove all this. This is like a law you need to understand. The square root of 16, right, will be a number below, the square root of 16 will be a number below 16 over 2, right? And we know it's 4, so it will be a number below 8, right? So how do we represent this in code? So this is an alternative method, right? You first check the edge case, which will be, let me eliminate all this. So you first check the edge case. And what is the edge case? If x is less than 2. In other words, if x is equal to 0 or x is equal to 1. And remember, they told us positive integers only, so then you return x, right? Because the square root of 0 is 0, square root of 1 is 1, right? So then we set our pointers for binary such I is equal to 2, right? Because we already dealt with these. Then j will equal to x over 2, right? So while I is less than j, you do the same thing that you did before. Mid is equal to I plus, in brackets, j minus I divided by 2. And then if mid by mid is equivalent to x, then you return mid. If mid is less than x, it will be I is equal to mid minus 1. Else, this else means mid is greater than x. Actually, this should be mid by mid. Else mid by mid is greater than x, then j is equal to mid minus 1. And then at the end here, remember, you need to return. If this doesn't work out, you simply return j. Okay. So this also works. Why is it taking long? I think we're having a server issue. But this code also works. Hold on a second. Why did we get an issue here? This should work. I'm getting a time limit exceeded, meaning I made a mistake somewhere. It should be mid by mid. Okay, I was trying to use their solution, which I did test before doing this, but for some reason it doesn't work. So safe to say, just do the first one that I showed you. Don't try using their solution. But you see, it's what I did here and it worked. So I wonder what the issue may be. So safe to say, just do the first solution I gave you. Oh, the issue was here. Sorry. Should have been plus. And then you return j. Yeah, that should have worked as well. That should have worked as well. Mid by mid. Yeah, my bad. What? That's also not working? That is weird, but it's the same code as this. Return x. That is weird. See, it's the same code, right? Same exact code. While yep, right? You see, this works. Meaning, I don't know what the mistake was with the previous code, but the previous one should have worked as well. Right. Well, oh, I less than or equal to, Jesus Christ, Roger. What the fuck, man? Yeah, that was my mistake. I less than or equal to. So this is not a difficult question at all. Let's see if you can use mid. I think you can use mid as well, actually. It's not just mid by mid. No. Mid by mid, my bad. Yeah. You have to check that. You have to check that. So this is the alternative, but I think in the interview you should just go with the, you may not remember these rules, so just go with the first one I showed you. And the solution to this is it is log n, or log length of, should be log n, right? It's log n. So yeah, thank you and bye.